ಆಕಾಶವಾಣಿ ಮಂಗಳೂರು.
ಬಾನುಲಿ ಶಾಲೆ ಬಾನತರಂಗದ ಶಾಲೆ, ಕಲಿಕೆಯ ಶಾಲೆ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಗಂಗೆಯ ಶಾಲೆ.
ಬಾನುಲಿ ಶಾಲೆ ಎಸ್ಎಸ್ಎಲ್ಸಿ ಪರೀಕ್ಷಾ ಸಿದ್ಧತೆ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ. ಇಂದಿನ ವಿಷಯ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಭಾಗ 2 ಆಂಗ್ಲ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮ. ಭಾಗವಹಿಸುವ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರು ಕೆನರಾ ಪ್ರೌಢಶಾಲೆ ಡೊಂಗರಕೆರೆಯ ಶುಭಾ ಭಟ್.
ಬನ್ನಿ ಗೆಳೆಯರೇ, ತಿಳಿಯೋಣ ಬನ್ನಿ ಗೆಳೆಯರೇ, ಕಲಿಯೋಣ ಬನ್ನಿ ಗೆಳೆಯರೇ, ತಿಳಿಯೋಣ ಬನ್ನಿ ಗೆಳೆಯರೇ.
Now let us move on to the topic called electricity. What is electric charge? Mention the types. The electric charge is fundamental property of matter that causes it to experience a force when placed in an electric or magnetic field. It is a property of subatomic particles and can become also positive or negative. It's represented by capital letter Q and SI unit is coulomb. What is electric current? Mention its SI unit. The amount of charge flowing through a particular area in unit time. In other words, it is the rate of flow of electric charges. And it is given in the formula I is equal to Q by T. SI unit of electric current is ampere. What is the importance of ammeter? Ammeter is the device used to measure electric current. And usually for multiple choice or for one sentence or for 1 mark questions, define the unit of electric current. The current is said to be 1 ampere if 1 coulomb charge flows per 1 second across a cross section of conductor. This will be the definition for define the unit of electric current. What does an electric circuit mean? An electric circuit is a continuous and closed path of an electric current. If the electric circuit complete, current can flow through the circuit. Next questions usually ask for 2 marks. Example, why does an ammeter have low resistance? Why does it have to be connected in series in an electric circuit? An ammeter should have low resistance because it should allow maximum current to pass through it. And second point is, always ammeter should be connected in series because to record all the current passing through the circuit. So these are for 2 marks questions, as well as they can ask the questions like this. What are closed and open electric circuit? An electric circuit through which no electric current flows or passes is called open circuit. An electric circuit through which electric current flows continuously is known as closed electric circuit. Then they can also ask the questions like define electric potential difference and mention its SI unit. What is meant by saying that potential difference between 2 points is 1 volt? Name the device that help to maintain potential difference between across a conductor. Voltmeter is a high resistance device and connected in a parallel in circuit. Why? This question continuously 3 times repeated in a question paper. I'll repeat the question. Voltmeter is a high resistance device and connected in parallel in a circuit. Why? The voltmeter should measure the potential difference between any 2 points, not allowing much current to flow through it. So, it must be high resistance device. It records potential difference between 2 ends of a conductor, hence it is connected parallel across 2 ends. The next important questions are, you will have to draw the schematic diagram to show the simple electric circuit, which includes a cell, plug key, ammeter, voltmeter, resistor. Next is define Ohm's law. What is the SI unit of resistance? On what factor does resistance of conductor depends? This question is asked several times for 2 marks and sometimes for 3 marks also. I repeat the question. On what factor does the resistance of a conductor depend? Answer, The resistance of conductor depends upon the following factors: length of the conductor, cross-sectional area of the conductor, material of the conductor, and temperature of the conductor. And some of the lengthy questions: let the resistance of electric component remains constant while the potential difference across the two ends of component decreases to half of its former value. What change will occur in the current through it? Such application level questions will be asked, which is connected with the chapter electricity. Then important topics like the SI unit of resistivity is ohm meter. Then you will have to mention the metals and alloys that have low resistivity and the good conductors of electricity. And what are insulators? Then what is meant by resistivity? Tungsten is used almost exclusively for filaments of electric bulbs. Give reason. Copper and aluminium are generally used for electrical transmission lines. These are the questions asked to, and you will have to give reasons for these statements. We are moving on to the next important topic. Will current flow more easily through thick wire or thin wire of the same material when connected to same source Y? So you can write the answer in 2 to 3 sentences. Current flow more easily through a thick wire than thin wire because thick wires area of cross section is more, since resistance is inversely proportional to area. Thick wires resistance is less, therefore current flow is more. What or which material is the best conductor among all the metals? Silver is the best conductor because it provides lower resistivity. Next, some few questions which are connected with the chapter electricity. What are the advantages of connecting electrical devices in parallel with a battery instead of connecting them in series? Answer should be: voltage across each connecting electric device is same and the device take current as per its resistance. In that, separate on-off switches can be applied across each device. Total resistance in parallel circuit decreases, hence a great current may be drawn from cell. If one electrical device is damaged, then the other devices continue to work properly. These are the important reasons why that devices should be connected in parallel than in the series. What is meant by heating effect of electric current? When current passes through a conductor of wire, heat is generated because of resistance offered by the conductor. Next topic, which is connected with the heat, important expression is H is equal to I square R into T. This formula is the expressions you have to write there. H is a heat, R is a resistance, I is a current, and T is a time there. And this is actually expression, or this can be asked in this way: what is meant by Joule's law of heating? And the mathematical expression is H is equal to I square R into T. Now, the law implies that heat produced in a resistor is directly proportional to the square of the current, that is I square, directly proportional to the resistance of the given current, that is R, and directly proportional to the time for which the current flows through the resistor. Therefore, H is equal to I square R into T. Very important topic, electric power. Define electric power and mention its SI unit. The rate at which electric energy is dissipated or consumed in an electric circuit is known as electric power. The SI unit of electric power is watt. Usually, the watt is used in the classrooms. But what is the commercial unit of energy? The commercial unit of electric energy is kilowatt hour, commonly known as unit. 1 kilowatt hour is equal to 1000 watt into 3600 second, that is 3.6 into 10 to the power of 6 watt second. or it can be also expressed as 3.6 into 10 to the power of 6 joules. Next topic, a very important, many a times repeated in the question papers, that is fuse. Explain the working of an electric fuse in circuits. Electric fuse protects circuits and appliances by stopping the flow of any unduly high electric current. The fuse is placed in series with the device. It consists of a piece of wire made of a metal or an alloy of appropriate melting point. For example, aluminium, copper, iron, lead, etc. If a current larger than the specific value flows through the circuit, the temperature of the fuse wire increases. This melts the fuse wire and breaks the current, hence it protects the circuit. This is the importance of fuse. This can be asked for 2 marks, or sometimes simply it is asked for 1 mark. If the same question is asked for 1 mark, you can just write it this way. It is a safety device which is used in the circuits or in the domestic electric lines. So simple answer. Otherwise, if it is asked for 2 marks, you have to give the more explanation. Then we are moving on to one more chapter, very important chapter of chemistry. That is metals and non-metals. What is metallic luster? Property of a metal to have a shiny surface in its pure state is called metallic luster. But we have to note that mercury is a liquid material and bromine is a liquid non-metal. Aluminium is highly abundant metal in the Earth's crust. Oxygen is highly abundant non-metal in the Earth's crust. Metals are usually electropositive. They are called as cations. Non-metals are usually electronegative. Hydrogen is the only non-metal with a positive charge. These are important points to be noted. Next question. What is malleability? The property which allows metals to be compressed into thin sheets. Which is the best malleable metal? Gold, silver, copper, and aluminium. What is ductility? Ability of the metals to be drawn into thin wires is called ductility. Which is the most ductile metal? That is gold. Because 1 gram of a gold can be pulled into a wire for about 2 kilometers. Metals are good conductors of heat and electricity. Justify. So you can give a simple experiment which is already given in the textbook. You can go through it. You can write into 2 to 3 sentences. Next question is, how does heat conduct in the metal? When metals are heated, atoms gain energy and vibrate vigorously. The energy gets transferred to the electrons present in the atoms. These electrons move through the metal and transfer energy to the other electrons of the atoms. Therefore, heat gets generated throughout. Name the metal which is the best conductor of heat. It is silver. And name the metals which are bad conductors of heat. That is lead and mercury. Name the metals which are good conductors of electricity. Silver, gold, copper, aluminium, and tungsten. Name the metal which are bad conductors of electricity, that is iron and mercury. Which metal is the best conductor of electricity? It is silver, because silver is the best conductor of heat and electricity. How do metals conduct electricity? Metals are electropositive in nature. The free electrons in metals move easily throughout the metal and hence conduct electricity. What is sonority? The property of metal to produce characteristic sound on striking hard surface. What is sonority? The property of metal to produce characteristic sound on striking a hard surface is called sonority. Very important topic. Why are electric wires covered with PVC or rubber? PVC is nothing but polyvinyl chloride and rubber are insulators. hence do not allow electricity to pass through them. Thus, the electric wires are covered by them and protect human body from the electric shock which can be caused by the wires. Name the lustrous non-metals, iodine and diamond. Then we have to move to important other topics like name two metals of low melting points, that is gallium and cesium. Very important topic which is asked many a times. What are amphoteric compounds? Give examples. Compounds which act as both acid and basic, which react with the base and acid respectively, are called as amphoteric compounds. Example, you can write zinc oxide and silicon dioxide. How do metals react with oxygen? Give example. Metals react with oxygen to give metal oxides. These are very important questions which is asked for 1 or 2 marks from the metal chapter. There are some questions also which are asked for 2 to 3 marks. I will read out few questions. How do metals react with the water? How do sodium and potassium react with water? How do metals react with the steam? And how does magnesium react with water? Sometimes there are chances of them asking balanced equation with these questions. These are the topics, and very important diagram is repeatedly asked from this chapter is explain the experiment or draw the diagram to show the reaction of metals with the steam. Sometimes ask for 5 marks, that is explain the experiment to show the reaction of metals with the steam. The one particular question you will have to explain the experiment or neat diagram. Why metals do not evolve hydrogen on reacting with the concentrated nitric acid? Usually metals evolve hydrogen gas. Nitric acid is exceptional. The answer will be nitric acid is strong oxidizing agent. It oxidizes the hydrogen formed into water and itself get reduced to any of nitrogen oxides like nitrogen dioxide, nitrogen oxide, or any of the oxides of nitrogen. So therefore, nitric acid do not evolve hydrogen on reacting with the metals. So these are important topics usually asked for 2 to 3 marks. Then in the same chapter there are formation of sodium chloride and formation of magnesium chloride. There it is important to show the dot formula and also the transfer of electrons. These two topics like formation of sodium chloride, formation of magnesium chloride with the dot formula and transfer of electrons to be shown very clearly. It will be asked for 3 marks. When magnesium, the valence is 2 and chlorine valence is 1. And it is shown in the textbook how these electrons are completely transferred and how ionic bond is formed. The ionic bond formation of sodium chloride and magnesium chloride is shown, and it is very important. Students, you have to practice these two ionic compounds. Next, write the properties of ionic compounds. The ionic compounds usually have these properties. They are hard and brittle. Melting and boiling points are very high. Soluble in water, insoluble in kerosene or petrol, and they conduct electricity. So these are the properties. But what are the physical properties of ionic compound? They are solids in nature. They have a strong force of attraction between positive and negative ions. They are brittle and break into pieces when pressure is applied. And another important topic which is connected with ionic compound is why do ionic compounds have high melting and boiling points? Ionic compounds have high melting and boiling points because considerable amount of energy is required to break inter-ionic attraction in the ionic compounds. This is the reason. And the last question I would like to read out, that is, ionic compounds do not conduct electricity in solid state. In one topic they say that ionic compounds conduct electricity, and next statement is ionic compounds do not conduct electricity in solid state. Why? Because the movement of ions in the solid state is not possible due to the rigid structure. Next topic is ionic compound conduct electricity in molten state. Why? Same question, they are asked in a different style. Due to the heat, the electrostatic force of attraction between the ions is broken and the ions move freely to conduct electricity. These are the usually topics asked in metals and non-metals. And the very important diagram you will have to practice every day. At least you have to practice those diagrams 3 times.
ಬಾನುಲಿ ಶಾಲೆ ಬಾನತರಂಗದ ಶಾಲೆ ಕಲಿಕೆಯ ಶಾಲೆ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಗಂಗೆಯ.
ಇದುವರೆಗೆ ಬಾನುಲಿ ಶಾಲೆ ಎಸ್ಎಸ್ಎಲ್ಸಿ ಪರೀಕ್ಷಾ ಸಿದ್ಧತೆ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಭಾಗ 2 ಆಂಗ್ಲ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮ ಈ ವಿಷಯದ ಕುರಿತಾಗಿ ಮಾಹಿತಿ ನೀಡಿದವರು ಕೆನರಾ ಪ್ರೌಢಶಾಲೆ ಡೊಂಗರಕೇರಿಯ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರಾದ ಶುಭಾ ಭಟ್.
ಗೆಳೆಯರೇ ತಿಳಿಯೋಣ ಬನ್ನಿ ಗೆಳೆಯರೇ,
ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಮುಗಿಯಿತು.
ಬನ್ನಿ ಗೆಳೆಯರೇ ತಿಳಿಯೋಣ ಬನ್ನಿ ಗೆಳೆಯರೇ.